don't think I truly believe in balance. I think everybody has a different version of that.
I was buying in Summerlin for $98 a foot.
Shut up.
Yeah. You look back at that time of your life where you're like, I didn't know anything.
I don't believe in the hustle culture, but there is a hustle phase.
So the question is, when are you satisfied? This happens all the time, right? Staff calls out, they get sick, they have a family emergency, whatever it is. What are you gonna do? Just be closed that day because you don't know how to operate your own business? It's crazy, so you have to know.
I'm here sharing inspiring stories about fearless entrepreneurial women to help encourage you to live your life unapologetically. I'm your host, Heather Blankenship. Welcome to the Unapologetically Me podcast.
On today's episode, I'm chatting with Miss Lisa Song Sutton, who is the former Miss Nevada. She was an attorney who turned serial entrepreneur. Y'all, this lady is truly creative in the businesses that she picks up and how she gets them to operate. She started with an alcohol cupcake business in Las Vegas and is now doing some really interesting things and has had her first baby at 40 years old. So let's dive in. Thanks for being here today, Lisa. We're in your hometown.
Yes.
So this is easy.
Yeah, super easy. Love Vegas. So glad you're here.
Okay, speaking of that, how do you like living here? Because when I'm here for a conference or something like that, the food's like having access to the food and the shows and things like that are really great, but what's living here mean?
It's awesome, honestly. We get all the big city amenities and all the things that you just mentioned that you get to enjoy as a tourist here, but then we also get peace and quiet as well. So before I moved here, obviously I came to Vegas as a tourist, right? And my max was like 3 days, right? Maybe 3.5 days. But like you're on the plane back to wherever you're from and you have like a little tickle in your throat, you're tired, you're like, I'm never coming back
the
here
weird
again.
air from the casino.
Yeah, you swear it off and then 6 months later you come back, right? So I absolutely love living here because we get the best of both worlds.
But how did you transition from like, I'm gonna stay for my 3.5 days to let's move here?
I moved here after law school. So I moved here in 2010. And this was incredible timing from an opportunity perspective because it was still bottoming out here. It was the middle of the recession.
Yeah.
And I jumped into a firm that was doing business litigation and business bankruptcy. So
those are some great transferable skills.
It was the best thing I could have done as a precursor to business, even though I didn't know at the time I wanted to go into business.
Yeah.
But there was just so much activity, so much work, and so I really just got a chance to jump in, start working. And the nice thing about Vegas as well is that it operates as a big city, but it also operates as a small local community. So if you are a local here, it operates like a small local community, which is really nice.
So you get the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. So you start working at the law firm, and how do you get the idea for the cupcake business?
It was from my friend and co-founder, Danielle. 2012, I'm still working at the firm, and I got like my big girl job at the firm, and she and I were catching up on the phone. Hey, what have you been up to? And at the time, she was still living in Florida, which is where I went to school, and where we had met. And she said, hey, I've been making these alcohol cupcakes. And I'm like, that is such a good idea. In fact, you should move to Vegas. Like I made all the mistakes in the beginning, right? And I was like, you should move to Vegas. And I just bought this house in Summerlin. Like you should move into my house and let's start the company.
How old are you at the time?
27.
Because I feel like that's how you progress and think that. I was 26 when I bought my first property. I was like, I can buy an RV park, right? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of those naive decisions that you make in your early 20s, yes, actually, things that now we would not do are actually what helped us get started.
Exactly. I was buying in Summerlin for $98 a foot.
Shut up.
Yeah, in 2011.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know, so I was just like hustling all the BKs, like the whole thing. And so she moved. She moved to Vegas, moved into my house.
Because y'all were in your 20s. Yes,
we're like, this is a good idea. And we started the company in my kitchen while I was still working at the firm. And so I kept my day job to fund it. And then during the day, she was handling the day-to-day operations. And nights and weekends, I was baking, I was running deliveries, I was setting up events with her. I was working the business.
Okay, so we should stop and talk about that, because I feel like a lot of new aspiring entrepreneurs or investors, they hear, I don't know if they're hearing something that tells them this or what it is, but they try and set these boundaries on like, I have to have me time or self-care or blah, blah, blah. And a lot of, I would say all the time, when you're starting a business, and I don't believe in the hustle culture, but there is a hustle phase. And if you don't do that, you're not going to succeed because you don't have the extra cash to pay people to be the who, not how, and do all the things when you're first getting started. You have to be that person in the beginning, and you have to give up that time to get there for the business to actually take off.
I completely agree. And I think it's really important to know how to operate your business, even if you don't plan to work it forever.
How will you manage someone who does that?
Yes. Exactly. How could you train someone to replace you, and how could you be able to jump in if this happens all the time, right? Staff calls out, they get sick, they have a family emergency, whatever it is. What are you going to do? Just be closed that day because you don't know how to operate your own business? It's crazy. So you have to know.
I agree with that. Eventually, you grow enough that you have backup people, but that's down the road. We don't start with backup people.
Unless you have an excess amount of capital to just kind of throw at it. But even then, it might be wasted dollars in the beginning because you're probably not training them properly. You're probably not giving them the best type of support that they could have because you don't know how to operate the business yourself. So everyone's kind of learning at the same time.
So you're building this company on the side out of your house.
Yeah.
How do you progress to the next level with that?
A few months in, we realized, oh, this is turning into a real business. So we need to get serious and also turn it into a real business. We had our LLC and operating agreement, things like that. But we started looking for bakery space and realized, hey, we want to do this in a kind of risk mitigated, bootstrapped way. And so our first kitchen was actually a shared space kitchen. And we didn't want to do a retail storefront at first. Instead of selling like one cupcake at a time to people, we forced you to buy by the dozen. And so we kept everything kind of baked fresh, made to order, as opposed to having wasted product at the end of the day. And with alcohol in it, we couldn't donate it anyway if we had still had excess.
I hadn't thought about that. Yep.
So we were like, okay, like we can't waste $1 on excess product. How do we make this more of a sustainable business model? And I still kept my day job because it's expensive to get a company up and going.
So did you end with that model? Like you stopped with pre-made, we didn't progress to storefront?
So what we realized was there was an opportunity to sell a single cupcake. I think it was, at the time it was like $5 a piece. We're selling a single cupcake off of our cupcake truck. Because this was when like the food trucks were starting to become the thing here.
Okay. Alcohol cupcake truck.
Yeah, 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013.
Sounds like a good wedding venue truck too.
We did catering, large catering events, any type of conventions, golf tournaments, weddings, of course. Those were always big events that we were able to utilize catering for, utilize the cupcake truck. And it wasn't just the cupcakes, it was kind of like a whole experience. So we would have a promo team basically of like brand ambassadors or like promo girls that would be part of
course,
that
Vegas,
whole experience. Yeah. And so they're out there, they're out there and handing out cupcakes and getting people to come to your booth, whatever it is, as well as the cupcakes themselves.
I love that. So how do you transition from that to mailboxes?
So during that time period, as the business was growing, I realized, wow, I can have my own company as long as I team up with an operations partner. That was kind of the big light bulb moment for me from that experience. And so I kept replicating that model across real estate, e-commerce, and then with the mailboxes, this is early 2018. I'd had a real estate event where it was going to be a tax event. We'd sold off some real estate, and my tax guy was like, do you want to start another business? Do you want to buy a business? Do you want to just eat this tax bill? What do you want to do? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me think on it. And at the same time, I was getting an alert. I had a mailbox that I had rented from a local UPS store for like 7 or 9 years. And they would auto charge my credit card every year. And I would get the receipt and I was like, I don't really use it that often. I should cancel it. And then I would never cancel it. And I was like, what is this business model? Because if I'm not canceling it,
because it's like a low enough amount that you're like, it's not worth the hassle.
I think it was like $240 or something, right? And I was just like, I should, and I never would. So I was like, what is this business model? Because if I'm not canceling it,
It's literally like subscription based, but
Yes.
for mailboxes.
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, other people are not canceling it. What is this business model?
Yeah.
So initially I had looked into buying a UPS franchise here in Vegas. I looked at the Southwest territory, and at the time I was told it would be $250,000 for a territory fee, and that's just a territory franchise fee. That's not my build out. That's not my cost to get the store up and going. That's not my operations cost.
It's the brand.
Yeah, just to reserve the territory fee and have that. So I was continuing to do due diligence. I called a friend of mine who had 3 UPS stores in San Diego, and I was like, tell me about this business. And he was like, I love it. He's like, the mailboxes are the steady recurring revenue. That's what keeps your lights on. That's what pays your staff. The shipping is ancillary and seasonal. And then you have these, notary, printing, copies, faxes. You have other
They are killing
lines
it with
of revenue
notaries
as well.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And he's like, if you call one of my stores right now, I don't even have a mailbox to give you. And I was like, that's great.
Especially if that's what pays the bills.
Yeah. So I'm like, can you put in more mailboxes? And he was like, no, because I'm a franchise. They dictate my layout. And so I'm maxed out at whatever it was. I think it was like 310 mailboxes.
So you couldn't buy next door and expand even if you wanted
So
to.
I was just like, oh, interesting. So he was like, maybe look into an independent model. Because I was also like not happy about a $250,000 territory fee.
Yeah.
He was like, maybe look at an independent model, and then you can service UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, even DHL if you wanted to. Like, you can service all the carriers, and you can set up the store however you want because it's independent. Put in as many mailboxes as you want if that's what you really want the core business to be. And I was like, independent? And then I realized up the street from my house in Summerlin was a independent store called Postal Pros. They always name something, mail for you.
Really
or something.
clear that that's what they do.
Yeah, but
Pack and
I had
ship
just,
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had just equated it in my mind to a UPS store. So
Like
I
Airbnb.
Yeah,
and their
so
short-term
I just
rentals.
was thinking it's a UPS store, but it was called Postal Pros, and it was an independent store. So I was like, oh, there's an independent store. So I approached Andrew, who's the owner there, and I'd been a patron of his for years, just dropping off my shipping stuff, eBay labels and stuff like that. And I said, do you want to expand? And he was like, no. And I was like, great.
Do you want to sell?
Yeah, like I was just like, I was like, well, I think I want to open up one of these stores, maybe down in the Southwest. It's like not area competition for you. I don't know anything about running a shipping retail store. I'll pay you $10,000 if you let me follow you around for 2 weeks, capture all your processes, create SOPs. You can have them as well. And what do you think? And he was just like, you're so crazy. He was like, okay, fine. And so that's what we did. And that was in 2018. That was going on, 7-8 years ago now.
I love that. And so how did you find your operator?
It was a friend of mine, so from my sphere of influence, because again, I knew, so up to this point, I'd had all these other ventures going on, including the bakery, real estate brokerage, all these things, and I was like, I clearly don't have the bandwidth to also jump in and run this day to day.
Yeah.
6 days a week. We're open 6 days a week. So
We're back to here's another startup because we're going to do an independent store.
yes, exactly. I know, I'm like the masochist.
That's clearly,
just,
That's your thing.
It's totally my thing. So I thought about, who do I know that I could potentially partner with on the operations side? And my friend Sarah came to mind. She actually has a teaching degree, and she was a 7th grade science teacher for a while. Realized she could make more bartending on the Las Vegas Strip than a teacher, sadly, right?
Yep.
And I just remembered her saying in passing that she was just kind of over it because she's working till 1, 2 in the morning. She's dealing with idiots with a credit card.
You eventually don't want that lifestyle
Yes,
anymore.
exactly. She's just like, I'm over it. And I was like, maybe she'd be interested in, going in.
Want to run a mailbox store?
Because then you're done at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It's closed on Sundays. It's closed major holidays. Right? It's definitely a different lifestyle.
So, okay, compared to a teacher, it would not feel like a different lifestyle. But compared to a bartender, it would feel like, oh, this is daytime hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you could even
Holidays,
still bartend if you wanted.
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
So I was like, I'm just going to throw it her way and see if she's interested at all. And so my thing was, I'm less worried about someone having experience in a shipping retail store or like working for the post office, right? It's more really, why do customers come to this type of store in the first place? It's a customer service issue.
Yeah.
right? They'd go out of their way to avoid going to the post office and the long line and the poor service.
Correct.
To come somewhere else, to an independent place, to a
Literally
local place.
think about even getting passports there, how much they suck.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many reasons why people want to avoid going to the post office. And so I just thought she'd be a great fit all around, especially being a bartender. You can imagine, right? You can talk to everybody. Your customer service skills are going to be on point.
Yes.
And so
especially here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a job.
100%.
Because it's a dime a dozen for people who can do that.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. And so I approached her about it, and she was like, I'm in. She was like, weird. Like, it sounds crazy, but like, I'm in.
Okay, so something it sounds like you're good at is continuing relationships with friends while doing business with them. Do you think you have some tips related to that? Because I feel like a lot of friendships fall apart when this happens, and you seem to be good at curating those relationships on both fronts.
Well, I have to say it's a two-way street, right? So, certainly communication, and I think talking about expectations in the beginning, which in the beginning of this journey I wasn't good at. I've gotten better over time after stumbling over some mistakes.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I'm just so grateful for all the business partners I have in my life, because we are also friends, and I think it's balanced with, you don't necessarily have to be like BFFs, right? We talk every day because of the business, but like, you don't have to be BFFs with your business partner, but you can be good, solid friends with them and conduct business together and be on the same page with what you're growing together. And it can turn into a lasting relationship on all fronts.
So I'm curious about something. So I bought my first property, oh my gosh, going on 15 years ago. But I got pregnant with my first child the same month I bought the property.
Oh, wow.
So I had to learn to do all the things you've done with kids. So my systems and my availability and all of that, I had to learn to do with kids. I actually think that might be easier than building all this stuff and then adding a baby in. You had a baby how many months ago?
7 months ago.
7 months ago. How have you adjusted with running all these businesses and now you have a baby?
It definitely has taken an adjustment period, and I'm so grateful that I got maybe about the first 4 months or so where I essentially was pretty much just available via phone. There were a few things. I mean, you know this, running a business, right? Like, there is no maternity leave. There's no 6-week, 12-week.
I literally remember being in the delivery room,
leave.
like doing a signing with a virtual notary.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So 2 weeks postpartum, I actually had to go in person to some meetings and some obligations, which was tough for me, but you make it happen.
Yes.
But I'm grateful that kind of aside from that 2-week postpartum period, essentially the first 4 months, I was able to really conduct most everything via phone and like off-camera Zoom.
Yeah.
And my business partners and everyone just kind of, picked up the slack a little bit because they knew that I just had this baby.
Well, at least with the
and was
baby, you also
adjusting.
know to prepare, right? We're doing these things ahead of time because we know the baby's coming, but
Yes.
the baby came early.
The baby came 3 weeks early, yes. So it's just, kind of moved up some timelines. But it was also, so he was born March 3rd. So it was like springtime and then headed right into summer. And luckily, summer is always a nice time to like recalibrate and reset, at least here in Vegas, because it's so hot. So most locals actually leave. And we have a home in Northern Nevada. And so we were able to go up to Northern Nevada. We spent a solid like 2 months up there during the summertime where I could just like get adjusted to baby, get adjusted to working.
Amazing
with baby.
your husband was able to do that also. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, I know today's episode is inspiring, but inspiration alone will never carry us to our ultimate goals. That's why I started the Society of Entrepreneurial Women. It's a mastermind for high-performing female investors and entrepreneurs who are living their lives unapologetically. In a world where most people don't get us, or they try to keep us confined in a small box, the Society exists to turn off the brakes and set you free. We have weekly calls covering investing, wealth building, health, relationships, family, and a whole lot more. We have small tribes to hold each other accountable to our goals. We have in-person, ladies-only retreats to disconnect and drive each other towards our dreams. And most importantly, this is a community where you can be unapologetically you. Celebrate your wins, scream your successes from the top of the rooftop, become best friends with women who get you. We're 3 years in, and I can honestly say my best friends today are all from the Society. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.
So you had the couple months to adjust, and now you're back doing both.
Yes.
How's that going?
It's been surprisingly really nice. I will say it takes a village, right? So the first month, my mom actually came and stayed with us.
That's wonderful.
When our son was first born.
Where does your mom live?
Arizona.
Also not too far.
Yeah, so she's able to pop in, and obviously she has been up several times since then. But we have a nanny that came on when Gabriel was about 6 months old. So it's been about a month now. And she's wonderful. And so she is just during weekdays, during kind of like a 10 to 3, 10 to 4 time frame. So I can just get work done or pop out to a meeting or whatever it is. And just I kind of have like kind of working hours to just get things done so that the rest of the evening is family time.
Yeah, it seems like you have a good balance with that.
She's incredibly helpful.
Do you think you'll have more kids?
I don't know. My husband and I obviously talk about it. My husband's, he's like totally down to have more. I'm an only child, so I didn't mind it at all. I loved it. So
how old are you?
I'm 40.
So you could still have more?
Yeah, I could. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it. I will.
I just, knock on wood, I was able to get pregnant naturally. I had a great pregnancy. I did a water birth, like an unmedicated water birth, and it was wonderful, like as wonderful as it can be.
Yeah.
And so I just the baby's wonderful and healthy and all the things. So I almost don't want to like roll the dice.
You're like scared to try again.
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm really grateful for the blessing that we have, and I almost just don't want to like roll the dice. Like,
so
be
it's
grateful
hard
with what you
because
have.
it's like quick to make the decision of do you want another one, but the reality is time's ticking when it comes to that.
Sure.
And so you've got to decide, because I'm 41. Mm-hmm. I had my last at 40. Okay. And my husband's like, let's have one more. And I'm saying the same thing as you are.
Yeah.
I've gotten pregnant naturally, which I'm sure, like me, you have a lot of girlfriends who aren't at our age.
I know, it's so tough.
I had natural childbirth. The baby's come in like an hour now.
Yeah.
It's like really great.
Yeah.
Everybody's healthy. Do we really risk that again?
Yeah. I think that's obviously it's a personal choice and option. And I just, like I said, everything is so wonderful, and I don't want to like mess it up.
You don't want to disrupt that?
Yeah, like I'm just like,
I will say
I don't want to
that
mess it up.
My youngest two are 10 months apart.
Okay.
And getting to see them play together and the relationship that they're building is freaking adorable and sweet. And who knows if that will continue for life. And as a mom, you of course dream that it does. Mm-hmm. But it's really sweet to see them have that playmate. And do you have family here?
No.
So there's no cousins or anything like that here. That has been, I think, one of the sweetest parts of
that's amazing.
Having the babies close together.
I love that.
So it's hard to decide.
I know.
So with all of these things, is there anything you're working on now that you're excited about, whether it's personal or business?
Yeah. Well, so the VC fund, the Veteran Fund, we just launched our Fund 2 July of this year.
Talk to us about what that is.
Yeah, so it's a venture capital fund that invests in early stage critical technology companies that are focused on national security and dual use, and they have to have a veteran or a military spouse on the leadership team. It's been about 4 years now that I've been involved with them. I initially came on as an LP.
Okay.
I muscled my way into the GP side. Incredible partners in that. There are 3 other GPs. Who really run the show, and it's been amazing. We kind of skated to the puck as far as timing of national priorities, where especially government contracts and money are flowing. We got there early. And
for people who aren't familiar with what you're talking about, explain this that at a 4th grade level.
So we invest money into companies that give us equity, right, for that investment. So it's not a charity, it's not a loan. This is investment dollars in for equity for a piece of the company. And these companies are building what are called dual use technologies. So in our portfolio right now, it's 3D printed drones, 3D printed satellites, cybersecurity. We like to see commercial application first, and they have to have some sort of government use component. So it's really just expanding your lines of revenue, right? You could sell to B2B or B2C over here, and then you could also sell to the government. There's a lot of non-dilutive government funding out there. So that's our sweet spot as a fund, is helping our companies get those dollars. And it's excellent for investment. And I also like it because it supports American entrepreneurship, American innovation, American technology. And it's also the archetype of entrepreneur that I like investing my dollars in.
And so how does the different administration changes affect, I'm sure with the experience you have the ability to pivot, right? Good investors can pivot for either administration.
Yeah.
But how has the administrative changes affected how y'all are doing that?
Yeah. Well, obviously with the current administration, it's been a big boost for our companies, right? Because with the priority on national security and fostering American-made items, American technologies, that's exactly the type of companies that we're investing in. And so it just kind of doubles down on not only the investment thesis, but also the type of revenue and dollars that are out there for this type of investment and for the technologies. And, I had angel invested for probably 9 years, and I wanted to get into venture, and I just wasn't quite sure how. Before getting into
This is like the next level of that, though.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
natural progression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because with angel investment, right, you're writing, at least for me, there were small checks, right? Like $25K, $50K here, and it's one company at a time. And it takes quite a while to see if there's going to be a return.
And you're like trying to decide regularly, what am I going to invest in? It's like a constant.
Yes. And you can have your own, just like real estate, right? Like you have your own little buy box of investment thesis that's important to you as an angel. But with VC, the fund, for example, in Fund 1, we have 25 different investments. And you're looking at those companies with the lens of, could this company 100x? So we looked at 3,000 deals during Fund 1 to invest in 25. And again, you're looking at the lens, could this company 100x? So as an investor, I love it because it's risk mitigated in that you don't hope this, but if you have 25 companies and half of them somehow like just disappear, right?
You still have the other half.
Exactly, that are like operating and hopefully doing well, right? Ideally, you want every single one to be doing well.
Yeah.
But that's what's nice about VC is that you invest as an LP, you invest into a fund that spreads out the investment across various companies. And again, they're doing that due diligence with the investment committee of looking through that lens of not just, is this a good founder? Do they have traction? What are their milestones? All these different things. One of the key components is, what is the likelihood of this company either getting acquired or doing an IPO in a given time frame? And what does that return look like for the fund?
So I have a couple questions for you with this. It sounds like you have shifted industries a lot. What is your process when you're like, I really think I'm interested in this totally different industry? Obviously, we talked about there's some transferable skills from the legal side that you were on as you've grown through this, but what are some of the things you do to make sure because you could be learning about an industry forever and never take any action. What are some of the things you do to learn enough about the industry to be confident that you have the ability to take the next step?
I just drill down on what are the key core components that I know I'm good at. So whether that's helping on the legal side, whether that's acting as an advisor or someone who knows what it takes to build from scratch and scale a company to 7-8 figures. What does it look like on the investing side? I take those core skills that I have and they're transferable, right, to any industry that I might be interested in. The key issue is, who can I partner with? Who's either already doing this or who can come alongside me in this journey and provide their knowledge and expertise and their specific skill set as well for us to turn it into a thriving company.
Ladies, it's time to redefine the conference experience with the Society of Entrepreneurial Women Retreats. Step inside a world tailored for women just like you, where you can lead, learn, and unwind in style. Our retreats offer everything from insightful investing sessions to fun activities like salsa dancing, boat cruises, food tours, and so much more, ensuring you come back not just inspired, but truly refreshed. Join a community that celebrates you wholly and supports your every endeavor. Ready for a retreat that changes the game? Visit the link in our show notes and find out how you can be part of this exclusive experience.
And so with all of the things that you're doing, do you get to have, this is Lisa's hobby, or are the business things your hobbies?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's family time, right? Like, I love getting a chance to just spend time with my husband and our son. And I have 2 corgis, Kimchi and Cupcake.
Very cute.
And Cupcake actually is a certified hospital pet therapy dog. And so we get to volunteer at Summerlin Hospital, which is just very fulfilling. She visits the kiddos there, and it's awesome. It's so, yeah, I mean, obviously here in Vegas, there's no shortage of things to do, right? Or places to be, or, you know, all the things. So that's what's amazing, is that we get an opportunity, whether it's something planned out, like it's charity gala season right now in Vegas because it's October. So
Of course there's a season for that.
there's a season. So, you know, we've got galas next weekend. Like, there's stuff that you have in the calendar, but then there's also stuff that will pop up like last minute, and you're like, oh my gosh, we could totally go to that, and it's all right here.
That's convenient. Because I feel like you're blessed with, especially with this new phase with a baby, you don't have to travel to a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff comes to you.
It's in my backyard. Like, in August, this was pre-planned, because this was like kind of like post-baby. Like, we planned it with my girlfriends. I did a suite at the Sphere for a Backstreet Boys concert.
I saw your pictures.
Yes,
That looked so much fun.
Literally, like 20 of my girlfriends, like half of them flew in from out of town, and the other half
Everyone
lived
came
here.
to you for the girls' weekend.
Everyone came into town, right? And we just had the best time.
But the flip side of that is there's probably always someone in town.
Yes. So you have to be like just really good with your calendar around, like, you know, protecting time.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it's too easy to, like, oh yeah, we'll go meet up here. We'll go meet up there. There's no shortage of people to meet up with and things to do and places to go. And so it's just prioritizing, you know, time with family or time at home or whatever is important for you. For me, I enjoy that.
Do you think you have an end goal with all of this?
You know, I think for me, my husband and I actually talk about this quite a bit, because
What does he do?
So he's a combat pilot. So he flew F-15s and F-22s. He also flies one large corporate jet for one client as well. So he's a pilot. And we talk about this pretty often, because there's always like more.
Right.
There's always more. There's always bigger. There's always like something else. And so the question is, like, when are you satisfied?
Or maybe I think that it's also okay to be like, this is fun to me.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't interrupt your marriage or raising your child, like, I think it's okay that this is fun to me. I don't think I truly believe in balance. I think everybody has a different version of that. Mm-hmm. But there are people who like that next high for that next deal, that next closing, that next type of investment. So that's kind of where I'm going with, like, is there an end for you, or do you think you'll kind of always dabble in it?
I think I'll always have my fingers in the businesses. But what's nice now in 2025 is that my businesses have aged.
Yeah.
Right? I'm no longer in startup. My oldest startup is my involvement with the fund, which is going on 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? So it's nice to not be in startup mode. And so it's a different season.
Right.
Where
that hustle is gone. Like, you don't have to do that anymore.
You're hustling now on like the growth phase.
Yes.
Which is
not you physically being there, though. Like we're talking about with the cupcakes and the mailboxes. And
Exactly. I'm not the one who has to physically run and do everything anymore. I have more help. We have more systems. There's more staff. There's just more people in place. And so it's nice, because you're still, I think, especially if you're an ambitious woman, I think that's always going to be part of your personality.
I was going to say, I think part of our, I recently sold like my largest asset that I've had actually last week for 14 years.
Wow.
And for the day of closing, I told my husband, I'm like, I think I need an hour after this to, like, because my kids are all homeschooled. So they're all home.
Oh, wow,
I work from home. My husband said, it is a zoo. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter how organized you are, it's a zoo. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I think I need to, like, go on a walk and, like, process that, like, this is part of my identity.
Yeah, kind of mourn it.
Yeah. And, like, because Carolina, who's in the room, had asked me, like, how do you feel? And I'm like, it's a weird mix of, like, I feel really blessed for, like, what it did for me to get started in my life. But it's definitely, like, the end of a season and time to move on. And so I don't think I realized how much the business stuff is, like, part of our identity. Some women, that's, like, their kids going to college or whatever that is for them. But I think that entrepreneurship is, like, that part's tough to give up.
It's true. Yeah. We had the bakery for 11 years and then we exited. And so kind of same idea, right? Where you're just like, gosh, like you look back at that time of your life where you're like, I didn't know anything.
I know. I'm like, I need a framed photo
you know?
of that property to like keep in my office for like the memory of like kind of like the pageant stuff for you, right?
Sure.
I'm assuming that season of your life has ended, but it was like a big thing for you.
Oh my gosh, it still to this day has kind of paid dividends in, relationships and friendships and business relationships and all the things.
Doors that open from those things.
And that was 11 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you look back at that and it's, I think, I don't know, is mourning, I don't know, it's just that moment that is busy moms and business owners. You don't normally have a moment to, sometimes you don't celebrate things you should. Sometimes you don't take time to think about how bad some things went.
Yeah.
And it's that like acknowledgement of, we're going to take a moment and like think about what just happened.
Yeah. Reflect on it a little bit too.
Yeah. So do you know what that like goal is for you, how that ends?
I think I just, ultimately, especially with having my son, like I just want to set the best example I possibly can for him and show him that, he can achieve anything. He can achieve anything with hard work and support. And I just want to exemplify that for him.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks for doing this with me today.
Yes, thank you.
Where can people find you?
Instagram and all the things. Still under my maiden name at Lisa Song Sutton.
What are you going to do about that?
Oh my gosh.
Because I haven't changed my name. I've been married 3 years and I still have Heather Blankenship on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a book under that name. I've built the following under that name.
Yep.
My business reputation's under that name.
Yep. I know.
So what are you going to do?
I've changed it on LinkedIn. And I changed my name on Instagram, but not the handle, right? Because I thought about it and I was like, gosh, like I have so much like tagged under this handle, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, it'll all go to nowhere, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
If you figure it out, let me know.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Remember, authenticity is your superpower. Stay unapologetically yourself and let's continue embracing our uniqueness together. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss the next episode.